Hey there, so here we are flipping the SPMS Flips presentation that was supposed to take place on Monday, February 15th. And this presentation has been adapted based on what we've already talked about in regards to blended learning. But Jerry Sides at Trexler Middle School originally created the original presentation. So let's review blended learning. Blended learning courses include a portion of the traditional face-to-face instruction, and that is replaced by web-based online learning. It's effective because it's an effective use of classroom time. It engages your students, promotes collaboration and communication from not just you to the student, but also the student to you and student to student. So, how does flipped learning align with blended learning? Here are the four pillars of FLIP. The F is a flexible environment. You'll learn when you do your first FLIP lesson, and it may be your one and only. It may not be for you, and that's fine, but all I'm asking is that you try. You'll learn when you do a FLIP lesson that you have to be flexible. There's going to be kids that don't watch it. There's going to be kids that say they don't have internet at home, and they're most likely lying. There's going to be kids who say they didn't like it. There's going to be parents that email and tell you to say too many times. But we all just have to be flexible. L is the learning culture, and we'll talk about how to promote a positive learning culture when you create this flip lesson and how you're going to model for them what you want them to do when they get home. Then is the content intentional. That's the I, intentional content. Be specific. Don't try to be too broad with what you're presenting. Choose one specific objective and break it down and take one of those pieces and flip it. And then it's done by a professional educator, which is you. So here's what it is. Flipped Classroom is student focused, it's personalized, it's intentional, it's engaging, and it's flexible. You can see the other options there. Here's what Flipped Classroom is not, and I have seen some of these being used not on this campus but at other campuses. Flipped Classroom is not using a Khan Academy video and assigning it to your students. It is not replacing the teacher. It is not easy, and it's not about students watching videos for homework. So if the student doesn't have internet access at home, download the videos onto their one-to-one devices. You could share it with them through OneDrive and have them download it that way before they leave for the school day. Put the videos on a thumb drive. Maybe they're in 6th grade. You could give them those videos on a thumb drive and they can plug it in when they get home. Come in early or stay after school. Those are a couple of options, but my favorite is make it their bell work. When I did the Flipped Classroom, my kids that didn't watch it, I had 3 kids in my class of 27 5th graders that didn't have internet access at home, and they came in every day, and the first thing they did was they watched the video and they completed the interactive activity that went with it. So how do we hold students accountable for watching videos at home? Well, how do you hold them accountable for doing their homework? Model your expectations in class first. Sit down, show them where to locate the video, show them how to watch the video, show them that they should not have any distractions around them, and show them what you want them to do while watching the video. We can't just give them a 5 or 6 minute video and expect them to pay attention. Provide students opportunities to interact with the video, not just passively watch it. So make it more interesting. So like you, I'm not just going to give you this video. I'm going to put it in an EduCanon and I'm going to have you reflect and respond and answer a couple of questions. Submit the video activities online or turn it in the next day. It doesn't have to be a digital activity. It could just be a quick write or a few notes that they took during the video, something they understood, something they didn't, something they learned. And you can upload your video to Rev, and then that way you can watch or see how many of your students actually watched the video and how long it took them to watch the video. We'll talk about Rev more at another time. What are some low-tech options for video interaction? Have them fill out a graphic organizer. Have them complete a quick check. Pause the video, to complete a task. They have to make a prediction or solve a problem. Educanon is a great tool for this, and it is using technology, but it's not something that you're going to have to collect the next day. The quick check is also one of my favorite ones. You just have a couple of questions on the board that play off of the video from the night before. If the students watched the video and did their interactive activity, then they're going to do great on the quick check. So here's some other high-tech options. So while they watch the video, maybe they could complete a Google form and submit it. They could complete an Edmodo assignment or a quiz, or they could create a video. You could create a video like I'm doing here, and use Educanon or Office Mix. So here's where it's easy to get bent out of shape and it's easy to get frustrated and throw your hands up and say, I'm never doing flipped classroom again. But if students don't watch it at home, we can't really do anything about that. You know, we can give them silent lunch. We could take their walking time away. But really, a lot of that is just creating more work for you, and it's not fun for you and it's not fun for them. So have solutions already in place. Have them watch it at the beginning of class. This is only for students that don't watch it at home. The flipped classroom model is not really you showing them a video and then doing something all at the same time in class. Allow students to come in during lunch to watch the videos if needed. They could have a working lunch. A lot of you do that anyway. And then provide videos to students a few days in advance. Maybe your goal is to create one flip video a week. You could post it on Monday and tell them that they have to have the interactive activity that goes with it done by Thursday, and then whatever you test them on Friday or whenever, it could include parts of that video. So how do you create it? There's the method called the FIZ method, and that was created by Lodge McCannon. He's with the Learning Institute at NC State, and that method is super simple. He uses a whiteboard, a dry erase marker, and a flip camera. Super simple, one-take video. He doesn't try to make it all pretty and all that glamorous for the students. He just does the video, teaches the lesson, uploads it to YouTube, and he's done. I used a similar version. I used my Promethean board, and you'll see in the examples that I'll give you that I uploaded my videos to YouTube. They weren't pretty. They weren't all that exciting, but you know what? It got the job done when I needed the job done, and the next day we did do exciting activities. We did group work. I did guided groups. I got to work with students one-on-one. You can use Screencast-O-Matic. You can use the Show Me app. It's an Apple-only app. You can create a paper slide video yourself and upload it to Rev, or use Educanon. That's one of my favorites. So here's the FIZ method. You can look back at this later. So here we go. So this is what you would have had we met face-to-face on Monday. This is where you would have broken out, gone to your room. I could have gone with you if you needed some help. And you have the rest of the session to plan the flip lesson. Think, what is something that you're teaching this week or next week that you could pre-record and have your students watch at home? Would it be beneficial for them to go ahead and preview the content and then have different activities, stations, if you will, when they get to school? And have that done, have that piece during the school day, so that they've already got the face-to-face instruction out of the way, and now you can just be a facilitator in the classroom and walk around and monitor the stations. And that's what you need to think about. What will your follow-up activities look like for the next day? And finally, what will the students do during the video to keep themselves engaged? This doesn't have to be complicated. You could just upload your video into Educanon, add a couple of points for response. That way you're just kind of measuring whether or not they're watching and making sure they're staying engaged. Once you have your video completed, have it assigned to your students, and have completed the in-class activity, please complete this Google form. So try to have this done by February 29th. As you know, I'm flexible on that date, but I'd love for you to create a video. Tell me how it went. So here's your link. I'll go over that in just a second, but this is created with Office Mix, and as you can see, it's giving me kind of a fit. There we go. So this is a really good tool to create a flipped classroom video on, and I can show you how to access that through your PowerPoint. Okay, so this is Rev. It's our new video hosting and sharing platform. If you want to upload your video to Rev and send your kids a link so that you can monitor which kids have watched it and how long it took them to complete it, then Rev might be a really good option for you. If you're comfortable uploading it to YouTube, I tell you your students really love it, but they're not going to be able to access YouTube on their one-to-one devices. So I would make sure that they have something else to access that at home, or they use their cell phones. So I'm going to pull up the Google form, and then you can get started. If you have any questions, you know where to find me. Thanks. Okay, so here is the agenda that we were going to use on Monday had we done this part face-to-face. But you can see there's 3 examples here. They are examples of different flipped lessons. This last one is one that I did. Please be kind. It is not all that great, but the point was to get it out, get it done, and have my students watch it, and it did end up being very effective once they came in the next day and they had already viewed the lesson for the day. So I encourage you to look at those. I also encourage you to go through some of these tools. My favorite, which is what I'm using right now, is Screencast-O-Matic. You can record up to a 15-minute video just from screencast-o-matic.com, and that's completely free, super simple to use. So if this is your first video that you've created and you don't necessarily want your face to be on the screen, this might be one of the better options for you. The Show Me app is something if you have an iPhone or if you have an iPad. You'd certainly download that and play around with it if you want. A paper slide video, I can show you how to do that. You use your document camera. The kids love it. They love to do them. They love to view them. And then also you could always video yourself and upload it to Rev or YouTube. And then Educanon, as you have seen, is one of my favorites as well, and it's fairly easy to use. So if you have questions about any of these, that's why I'm here. Please come see me. Don't let the creation of your video be the reason why you don't like to do it, or I just encourage you to try to do at least one video, and when you get that done, if you would fill out this Google form. I'll send you the links to all of this. I'll put this Google form link in the agenda that you just saw. But this is the kind of reflection that I've come up with for this PD. So your first and last name, and then provide a link to the flipped lesson you created below. All of the options that I showed you on the agenda can be linked to something so that you can provide the link there. When did your students view the video for homework? Please provide a date. Just let me know, if you assigned it on Monday and they didn't have to watch it until Friday, you can certainly put that here. What did you require the students to do while watching the video? Remember, we talked about some of those during the presentation. What were some obstacles you had to overcome? And just write a brief reflection, just a couple of sentences, on whether or not you foresee ever using the flipped classroom model, and if you liked it or if you didn't, and it's totally okay if you didn't. That's what professional development is all about, to find out what works for you and what doesn't. So I appreciate you taking the time to do this, and I hope that you enjoy trying something new.